What up, y'all? It's Karmo. Shout out to the Great American Hip Hop Debate Podcast. We here, La Cosa Nostra. The word is yours.
Fuck with this world. Fuck with this right here.
Hey.
New Kiamo. La Marina. Off the La Cosa Nostra project. Go download that.
Hey, we out the Dykeman.
That Marvin.
Rest in peace, Marvin Gaye.
Yeah, La Marina, this is standing ovation. Down status to the OGs, seeing relations. Slave chains inherited, speaking for generations. Classical theme, you know I dress for the occasion. Frank White, king of New York, looking familiar. Hoes gonna play you with their games like it's trivia. Lead you to a trap, you know, Sin City. You running with gorillas, but you looking like Olivia. Cut from a different cloth, you know, like Givenchy denim. Only drop once a year and still got momentum. Osley brothers through the holidays with Hathaway. They never let you till you lock down or you pass away. Paper cuts hit me clicking like money machine. I was worthy as Kobe to just ball this Kareem. I'm still having nightmares of this Martin dream. Why the prettiest people do the ugliest things. La Marina.
New Kiamo.
Get that.
La Marina.
Shout out to La Marina. Shout out to all the thotties that used to be in La Marina.
Word. There's a lot of them.
Welcome world, welcome world. This is episode 79 of the Great American Hip Hop Debate Podcast. I am the brother Burnz. To the left of me, I got the brother V.S.
Yes to the OP. You know what it be. LBE, MDMA all day.
On the check-in, we got International Blood.
Let's go, baby. Let's take it back to 79. We in the episode with New Jersey's finest. Let's go, baby.
Mm-hmm.
How are you feeling, sir?
Word.
I'm fucked up in the game, but it's all good, man. We recovering, man.
You sound good at least.
I'm tough, man, you know?
Yes. And in studio today, we have special guest from Passaic, New Jersey, MC extraordinaire, Kiamo. Yo. Thank you for being here, brother.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
Sir.
Everybody make sure you go follow Kiamo. That's at KIAMO World, at KIAMO World. Make sure you go download La Cosa Nostra. Available on all DSPs. The brother actually blessed us with some physical copies.
Physicals.
Amen
What y'all know about
that. I haven't
physicals?
seen that in a long time. Shout out to
Nail my shit.
yeah, your CD and the empanadas.
Word.
Yes, sir.
Shout out to everybody at Lord Entertainment. That's at Lord_ENT.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to the brother Poe from Lord Entertainment. Make sure y'all following him at Lord_P.O. Shout out to the brother Josh. Make sure you're following him at Midtown_Lord.
That's right.
And shout out to Corner of the World Records.
Pasaic's finest.
Yeah, I want to get into the story behind that name. Before we do that, happy birthday shout out to the brother Sammy at Timeless_Product. Do remember, if you're looking for designer gear, shoes, jewelry, glasses,
Anything.
Accessories.
Anything designer.
yeah, man, all the fly shit. He put up some really dope Louis Vuitton I can't even pronounce that shit. I can't afford it, so I can't pronounce it. Louis Vuitton sneakers, very fire. Some really dope jewelry. Oh, he put up some heels, ladies. YSL heels, Gucci heels.
Find
Go
out.
check that out. Two things look good on a lady: confidence and heels. Remember I said that. All right, now, before we get into the brother Kiamo and his stories, I want to talk current events real quick.
What you got?
The only thing going on right now in fucking hip hop:
It's the only thing on my timeline.
Donda versus Certified Lover Boy. First question: have y'all heard the albums?
Yeah.
Both of them?
Yeah, I skimmed through both of them. And, yeah.
Hold that thought. VS, have you heard the album?
I've only got through half of both. That's it.
Hold that thought. Bloodshot.
More or less the same. About skim, both of them maybe got about halfway through CLB.
All right. Your microphone's in and out. So whatever you did at the end of that sentence, keep doing that so that it doesn't go out again.
Word.
I have heard nothing.
For real?
Yo, word.
I'm surprised.
I've checked. Like, I wanted to hear on the Drake, there's a song that he's dissing Kanye specifically.
Yeah, that's a song with Wayne and Ross.
No, not that song.
Well, he does allude to Kanye.
There's another song. That was the one I listened to. 7 a.m. in Bridal Lane. Something like that.
That's not the song I'm talking about.
That's the song I read he was dissing. So I wanted to hear that. I've heard nothing from Donda. I've only read about it. So I want y'all's opinion on who has the better album.
We'll let the guest speak first.
Let's start with Kiamo.
I mean, with Kanye, it's like he's gonna always deliver you a different sound.
Yes.
Every album.
Absolutely.
His album, like you cannot compare his album sounding the same. That's one thing.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I think with Drake, with Certified Lover Boy, like I was a fan of early Drake and stuff like that because I think his pen game lethal still. Like besides everybody said the Ghostwriters, before that I always thought his pen game was lethal, you know?
Right.
And I feel like he tapped into that Blackberry Drake.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Going into this album, like you hear a lot of bars, and I felt like that was him.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I don't know, like, and I can't really say. You know what I mean? Like,
It's funny that you say Blackberry Drake. That lets me know that you really have been a fan for a long time.
Right.
yeah. I always tell people like, you could tell in my music where I took to create who I am, to find who I am, who were my inspirations. You know what I mean? And it's crazy. Like I always think like it's crazy that these two artists, producers can't work together. You know what I mean? Because you could just
Yes and
imagine,
no, because they have worked
They
together.
have worked together.
But I'm talking about like imagine if Kanye produced a Drake album.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that standpoint of that. I'm not talking about like them doing songs.
The little one-offs.
Yeah,
that they do.
you know what I mean? Like, and I think this personally, like, we needed that competition in hip hop because
Do you think it's real or a setup?
I don't think it's really that like.
Like they're not gonna fight one.
Nah,
I don't think so either.
Nah.
You know what I mean?
I think they're smart. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
it's business at the end of the day. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And
yeah.
as an artist, you gotta understand the business aspect of sales.
Of course.
You know what I mean? And
You gotta drum up
controversy.
sales.
Absolutely. You know what I mean? So they know what they're doing, and they know that it's
Absolutely.
good,
Hell yeah.
and the competition they're drawing near, and other artists that are getting involved behind it. You know what I mean? You recently just heard Andre 3000 speak on it.
Right.
Soulja Boy speaking on it.
Right.
Chris Skin
Yo,
on it. You know.
Soulja Boy,
Which
the
is like
funniest
that's
cat.
what I kind of found kind of weird because Cuddy's on a couple tracks on the Drake album.
Yes.
And that's Kanye's
Hove
man's.
too.
Yeah.
Hove is on the Drake album, you know what I'm saying? And that's Kanye's man. The
Yeah.
throne is back supposedly, you know what I mean? So like
on
that's
both. He's on
conflicting
both.
and shit.
I mean, they literally live down the block from each other.
yeah.
So if the beef was real, like
Right.
Sign with a-
yeah,
Nah.
sign
I
with
mean,
a Paco.
they ain't those type of artists though, man. They're not gonna go and shoot the other one's house.
Nah.
No, I don't
It's
think so
not
either.
only-
That,
You know, they might not even fist fight like if they ran into each other. But I feel like they're both conflicted artists. Like they don't know who their real friends are at the end of the day. They're always beefing amongst their own peoples. So they just those type of individuals.
is that
you
when
know?
you get to that level, you know what I mean? Like, when you reach a certain level of success, it's hard to trust those around you because you don't know their motivation.
Their true
you know what I mean?
intentions.
For the most part, you know, if I got rich tomorrow, I know y'all suckers is down because y'all been down for 20 years that I've been broke. So it's not like y'all just gonna suddenly be down because I'm rich.
Yeah, exactly.
But as you grow, more people come around and
of course.
blah blah blah. How about you? You that has skimmed the albums. Do you have a clear-cut winner at the moment?
I'll be honest. Because I listened to Kanye first because it came out first, and I played it from the beginning. And the first thing was Donda, where they say Donda 52 times.
The chant, Donda
The
chant.
yeah.
I thought it was
I haven't heard
58.
it.
It was 50. I thought it was 52, 58, whatever.
He
it is.
said
Like
58
that.
because it's his mother, the year she how
the
old
year
she was when she passed
okay,
away.
so there it is.
Is
58.
there drums behind it?
Nothing. It's Selena Johnson just saying Donda, Donda, Donda,
58
Donda.
times?
Yeah.
So yeah, let me
Rhythmic-
explain what that is.
And then on top of that, she'll change up her cadence. She'll even change.
explain what
She'll
that is.
stretch the
Let me-
word out even.
Let me
Donda.
explain what that is.
Just
Let me
mad
explain what
times,
that
yo.
is.
Go ahead,
You hear me?
explain what that is, please.
My man's not letting me talk, so he
Go
can
ahead, go
understand.
ahead.
The reason they did that, and you know, it's funny because my daughter broke it down for me, and it's supposed to be her heartbeat before she passed away. So, like,
Oh.
the cadence of her saying "Donda, Donda," whatever, is actually her heartbeat, and that's why he said it however many times.
Interesting.
Well, like Karmo just explained, the 58 times is the year. It's supposed
yeah.
the number is supposed to represent the age she was when she passed away.
Yeah. But also, you know, but the reason for her repeating Donda so many times was like, you know, it's the heartbeat. It's supposed to be her heartbeat, and then, you know, I guess she did it for every year before she, you know, when she passed away.
That's crazy. I didn't think of that. Wow, that's not. I didn't even hear about that.
So, you know, with Kanye, everything has a deeper meaning. Everything is always, you know, is very well thought out. We might not discover shit about the album for years. You know what I'm saying?
True. That's facts.
If you don't put it out there.
That's facts.
Well, that's what you got to admire about Kanye. His brain works in a very genius way, but it's also very methodical. So there is no wasted movement.
Right.
Everything has a purpose. Everything is because of something.
Yeah.
Correct.
So
I really don't. Oh, go ahead. I'll let you finish.
No, so I was just gonna keep, you know, basically talk about the album, and the first few tracks, they were all different. It's like you said, he just had a different sound. Like the song Jail, it's just the bass line and electric guitars. You know what I'm saying? But it still sounds. I actually like that song. And then Jigga comes on and everything, you know. Then he changes it again. He's got so many different sounds on the album. And of course, once he gets on his Kanye production shit, it's still top level, top tier production. No matter what's on it, you know what I'm saying, what he's spitting on it, whatever, it's still Kanye. You know what I'm saying? So you're still going to get that top level Kanye production. I want to listen to the rest of it. Now, as far as CLB, like the first few tracks, I found mad boring. They were boring to me. They were just all sounding the same. It was just not Kanye. Drake getting on his fucking whiny shit. You know what I'm saying? But then he
the intro. Drake is normally good for a good intro.
The intro was cool. But besides that, like, he just got on his whiny shit until he got to that fucking song with Future and Young Thug.
My new anthem.
Yo, I swear to God, yo. I thought the song was funny without seeing the video. And then when you put the video on the group chat and I went to see it, I must have watched that thing like 5 times. I thought that shit was fucking hilarious. And that's why I fuck with Drake, because he can make fun of himself. He doesn't take himself too seriously.
Actually, thank you for saying that. There's a quote that I read today about just that I wanted to repeat. A young lady on Twitter named @Janie_G. She made the perfect point. She says, I love how Drake always looks like he's having fun. It must be so wonderful to be so comfortable with who you are that you aren't limited by the antiquated, stifling, and boring concepts of Black American masculinity.
Wow. Very well put.
I totally agree with, because that's the shit about Drake. And people, you know, even in our circle, people like to clown Drake because of the things he does.
Facts.
But he's just having fun. And he makes fun of himself so often.
That's what I like. That
he's not embarrassed to do some dumb shit and some funny shit. Like, he's not stifled by what it is to be man or manly or whatever.
Or even cool in today's, you know what I'm saying? But I think
I think that's super cool. Like, to not
care. It is. As an artist, it is cool, but in the world of hip hop, that's why he's frowned upon, because he's like more happy-go-lucky than everyone else. So then, you know, when he wants to act hard, people be like, "My man, like, you're not even tough. Like, come on, like, you was just like."
Yeah, but the world
in
of
the video
hip-hop
talking about you too
is
sexy.
Toxic, my nigga. Like,
no,
they want
totally
you to be
understand.
violent. They want you to be.
I'm not saying it isn't. I'm not saying it's not.
What's the word?
But that's what it is. That's the dynamic.
Yeah. No, I totally.
Dynamic, you know.
That's totally
so why me personally, I consider him more pop than hip hop or rap. You know what I'm saying?
Well, no, I think we've established that Drake should be considered a pop artist.
He's a pop artist for 100%. He's not a rapper. He's not a hip hop artist. He's a pop artist. He makes pop music for the most part.
But,
you know what I'm saying? You know,
on the flip side, I'm very open-minded when it comes to everything. You know, not only music. So I'll tell you the truth, man. I think he's smoking Kanye. I think he smoked him. Knocked them out the box, under the box, around the box.
Album versus album, you mean?
Album versus album right now, yeah. Again, when it comes to Kanye, there's certain things that you're not going to pick up on right away, so it might take a couple of listens, might take like a year for a single to really catch some steam. That I'm like, then, you know, I didn't get it, you know, at first. But off first listen, you know, even with the slow stuff and all the sing-songy stuff that Drake has on his album, he does bring the hard stuff. He does bring, you know, the other aspect. And, you know, I think he's smoking him. Like, to tell you the truth, he really outdid himself on this album, man. CLB is, so far, I give it like about 4.5 mics. so far, and
that's big praise.
Wow.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. Again, like I'm very open minded, and as much shit as I talk about him and his personality, you gotta respect the music, and you gotta respect how well done it is. Like, so for example, Harv saying that it was boring at first, I kind of get it, but it's very well done. He has a lot of samples, a lot of skits, things, and you gotta hear it for what it is, man. Like, we can't kid ourselves. The people involved in this, they know what the fuck they doing. No,
that's one thing too that the songs that I did deem as boring, or not boring, but like not as lively, or not, however, I did hear that there was a lot of quotables in there that I know women are gonna put up on their Instagram. You know what I'm saying?
Well, again, that's what Drake is known
exactly,
for.
Exactly.
I started losing friends, and I started losing friends in some shit. It's like the number one quotable from the album that everyone has. Yeah. I've seen it a million times.
Yeah, there's another one that he says, respectfully, I just want my respect. So it's like he's going for that top spot. And it doesn't matter what he has to do to get there. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna step on everybody's heads.
He's going for the top spot lyrically, I assume, because he already got the top spot. I mean, number one selling artist of the decade.
He just broke another record for the most streamed artist in one day.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, crazy. But as I said, to give credit to Kanye, as I said on the last episode, it's not always about the music with Kanye. So he's introducing also that technology that we spoke about. So that might be something that takes him to the next level, even in terms of icon, not only with the music. Donda, the album, is not going to define who Kanye is.
No, of course not.
Nah.
But what you're saying is correct. He is more of an artist than Drake as far as the visuals and the rollout with the music and the concerts, and each concert meaning something different. Like I said, his shit always got a deeper meaning that we may never understand unless he literally tells us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And let me put the guest under a little pressure. Karmo. You got a chance to collab with somebody right now, today, after you leave here. Kanye or Drake?
Artist-wise?
You have a chance to collab.
It doesn't
whatever.
matter.
Maybe Kanye's going to produce for you. Maybe Drake's going to let you write for him. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
I love to work with Kanye on a production level. Like, you know what I mean?
Hell
just because
yeah.
I fell in love with when I watched the Black album. You know what I mean? The Fade to Black documentary.
Yo, that's just good, right?
And you see
the energy he has in the studio and the ideas. Because he's telling Jay, like, yo, then here the crowd is going to chant,
and you actually felt that watching Hov perform. You know? So it's a different way of Kanye as an artist and Kanye as a producer.
Right.
You know what I mean? I always tell people
there's a method to his madness.
Exactly. And I always said, like, when producing, like I always said, I'll fuck with Kanye, Just Blaze, Dr. Dre. Like, these are some of the people I love to work with. You know what I mean? And he's just ill, man. So production wise,
Ye's the answer.
Yeah,
absolutely. Now,
but not saying I wouldn't want to rap with Drake. Like,
oh no, of course you'd be my personal opinion. Mm-hmm. You'd be a fool to not work with Drake. There's rappers out there that won't work with Drake for whatever reason. But he's too big to turn that down. Like, you're going to be exposed to millions of new ears. An artist like Benny the Butcher, for example. Hot as fuck. You know what I mean? Like, he's scorching hot. But he got a track with Drake that's going to drop soon. Mm-hmm. That was smart, dude. Like, you can be the hottest street rapper, but only the streets are gonna hear you. When you collab with Drake, now the whole fucking world is gonna hear you. Like,
being global,
motherfuckers in a cave in Afghanistan is gonna hear that shit, bro.
Kids in India are gonna
know. Did y'all hear what Little Durk did?
No.
My favorite story from this whole week. Little Durk is on Drake's album.
Oh, he shouted out his
girl's makeup company, and he says it on the song. He's like, "Yo, shout out to my girl's makeup company," in the rhyme, which makes it even doper. Shout out to my girl's makeup company. I'm gonna paraphrase. This don't got nothing to do with the song, but I'm just saying it. Drake's songs get billions of streams, so I'm putting her shit out there.
That's
I
basically
just
what he
thought-
said in the rant.
I think
Smart.
that's what he said.
Smart as fuck.
Yo, smart as fuck. Shout out to him. Shout out to her.
He knows though.
You know what else he did? He put a quote out there that he's gonna change up his style from not putting all that gangster shit. Remember we was talking about that with Dirk?
Yeah,
He's
how
gonna
he needs to
switch
drop
up
the
his whole
negativity.
shit.
Good for him, man.
Yeah.
Hopefully he does.
Yeah, good for him.
I
Facts.
want him to survive.
Smart young man.
Facts.
Now we're talking about MCs and producers and samples and dope samples. Now the brother Kiamo has. Let me ask you: are you selecting these samples?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you're telling the producer, "Yo,
I
Really?
fully produced his album. I just
That's-
got the beat. I mix
see,
and
that
master.
is what I wanna hear.
I went to different studios. I do all my albums in my crib. This
then-
this album, I particularly said, yo, we're gonna go to studios because we're gonna show the people a documentary and we're gonna give them that feel how Fade the Black was and give them a appeal. You know, like yo, this is how he controls the session. This is how he tells the artist, yo, sound like this and that. You know what I mean? For certain artists, you know. So
That's good.
I wanted to show people that there was much more of me than just I'm not just a rapper.
No,
I'm
that's
all around
awesome.
artist. Like
yeah,
artist.
more leaning towards a Kanye."
You know.
And that's dope because a lot of I don't want to say a lot, but there's rappers out there that they only come in and rap.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
They'll come in, they'll hear the beat, they'll write their
That's why they don't have a lot of control of their masses.
right, or even a lot of like
Creative control.
creative control.
And that's why
and
Creativity,
it doesn't
creativity.
sound. And when they put it together, it doesn't sound right.
Just
But-
creativity, period. Yeah,
Yeah.
man. Yo, you get much more respect from me now just hearing you say that because not only are you lyrically sharp, just the concepts on your album. I'm like, man, like it's very well rounded, and you can easily just be like, I just picked these beats and it's what I created. But you actually telling the producer what to do is a big difference. You know?
Yes, yeah, I agree, and props to you for that, definitely. Cause you're picking some fucking dope samples, bro.
Yeah, hell yeah. You're picking dope samples, dope beats. And on top of that, what I wanted to say was because everybody nowadays, for the most part, most people sound the same. They spit on the same beats. They pattern the same flows. You, on the other hand, I'm gonna rap the way I rap. I want to rap the way I like to hear. You know, the shit you want to hear. You know what I'm saying? So you don't follow the crowd.
You know the most inspirational thing I could ever tell somebody, right? We recently got a single played on Hot 97, right? My single Unpredictable off my album.
Shout out to Drewski.
Yeah, shout out to Juice, you know. And we just begin our singles on Hot 97 now, you know. And this is the most touching thing. I want all artists to take this in. I recorded that song in my crib. I did not need a strip. I did not go to the strip club, need an album, but I didn't need none of that.
Right.
For this. You just have to have a plan and have a layout on how you deliver your music. You understand?
And also quality.
And quality is everything.
Yeah.
You don't want. I always tell people you don't want to be good at everything but master nothing.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's one thing. You know what I mean? If you're gonna be a street dude, then you go all out and be that ill street dude.
You
You
be
know what I
the
mean?
Tom Brady of
If you-
street dudes.
If you want to be top, just don't do something just because you see everybody doing it.
Right.
Master what you do. You know what I mean? And me going into music, I didn't go to college.
Right.
I didn't attempt college. I could have played football, basketball. I was talented.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But once my grandmother passed away when I was 16, and like my whole mind shifted. And I've always been recording music, always been doing it. But I took it a whole different level when my grandmother passed away. You know what I mean? So I went through the whole development stage. And that's what I think a lot of artists are missing, development stage.
Word.
You know what I mean? And a lot of labels, they don't have that time to develop an artist just because so sometimes it's not their fault because so much money rolling in. They say, you know, this guy's hot. He already got a buzz. I'm going to put money behind him. But then when that artist is done and he's not creative anymore, all right, we shelf him. And that's when you hear the artist usually complaining, yo, my album ain't coming out, this and that. He ain't really developed yet.
Right.
He ain't have a creative way to, you know, let me create a different sound of album. That's like Kanye. Kanye could deliver a different style of album every time. And that's what goes back to this. A lot of artists are missing the development stage when you're hearing them in ciphers. And like I have stories for days, like, you know, me at 19 going in I don't know if you too familiar with this artist named Spit Gems. He had an album release party.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, for real.
We fuck with Spit.
Nice.
He had an album release party, and I was there. They had the camera out. You know what I mean? My man Rashid Chappelle brought me out there.
I was gonna ask you
know what
about
I mean?
him.
You know, so I was 19 years old. I was too young to go in. It was in Queens. You know, and then him, a couple other dudes. You know, I don't really want to mention their names and stuff like that, out of respect. But they said, yo, we're going to have a cypher real quick. What's up? Right? And they said, who going to go first? And I was 19 years old. I said, me. Because guess what? usually every artist want to be like, oh, I want to be the last one to open up. Nah, sometimes you gotta be the first one to catch their attention.
Exactly.
So that's what I took that opportunity and I spit first, and everybody was like, yo, who this young bull? You know what I mean? At 19, spent with all these big dogs. You know what I mean? That it showed them like, yo, I ain't scared. I'm ready. You know what I mean? And I went through the whole development stage. My cousin Salissa propped me up. My man Poe, you know, sharpened the blade, and you know, we just got right.
So yeah, that's
missing.
That's
today.
audible in your music.
Yeah.
That's audible. We can hear that.
But that's what's missing from a lot of artists today. They get, for the most part, a lot of mainstream artists, they get lucky with one hit. And like you said, the label's like, oh, they got their following. They got this hot single. Let's put them on. They don't. What the record label fails to realize is that they didn't do what you did. They didn't go through the crucible of, you know, spitting in ciphers.
Well, the
and
record label
shit.
doesn't give a shit though.
They don't.
just
All
wanna
they
make
care
that
about is
quick
money. You're right.
profit, yeah.
But that's like
At
you
the
said,
end
the
of
development.
day, is money. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Who don't care about money?
They don't want to
You know what I mean?
invest in developing an artist if they could just cash out on his single. It's different from
Definitely
when
now.
we were coming
Yeah.
up. You know what I mean?
Definitely
I
now.
mean, back in the day, they even had a whole department for artist development. That's
Exactly.
what people's job was: take them around, get them skilled. You know,
Yeah,
take them to
exactly.
battles, take them to open mics, have them meet with producers. Now, because damn, we were just having this conversation because technology made everything so easy that everybody can make music. They don't go through the development stage. They don't go out and meet people and collaborate and bust freestyles and hit ciphers for what? That's why these artists don't have that long of a life of a career span. Their shit is
They don't even build or develop their sound. Like for example, like a Karmo going to the different studios and telling the different producers to put different sounds together. They'll just stay with the same producer in the lab and spit on his same 15 beats that he made.
A lot of them,
and it all sounds like,
their
you
own
know, like
producer.
a black hole of me. Yeah, it's like terrible.
And I had a lot of engineers tell me that in different studios where they said, yo, we love how you came so prepared. We loved how, you know, my first session, I could have knocked out my Cosa Nostra in a week if I wanted to. I knocked out 4 songs at one session. The first set, we started recording it in March. I knocked out 4 songs in a 3-hour session.
Did you pre-record in your house and then go re-record in the studio?
Certain songs.
Some of them?
Right.
You know what I mean? But like, I was just banging them out. The engineer was like, yo, we never had artists work like this. And they had artists from around go to that studio. And they loved how I came so prepared. Because I ain't here to waste nobody's time and we ain't wasting nobody's money.
Well, have you ever heard of the 5 Ps?
The what?
The 5 Ps?
Repeat that.
Proper preparation prevents poor performance.
Nah, I never heard of that.
That is what you just described. The 5 Ps. So you go in prepared and you do good because you're fucking ready.
And this is another crazy thing, right? I have a story. I performed for Source Unsigned Hype.
Okay.
You know what I mean? You know, Unsigned Hype is a big thing for hip hop and for the Source magazine. My family hit me up, right? It was around 10 o'clock. He said, yo, cuz, they want you to come perform at Source Unsigned Hype. I'm like, what? Yeah. I said, all right, when is it? He said, you got to be in Harlem by 2 o'clock.
Today.
Like
now.
Today. And you know there's a difference between, you know, performance tracks and regular tracks. Of
course.
Yeah.
So I called my camera guy because we want everything documented. I don't care what it is. Like we want everything documented. So when kids could look back at it and say, you know how certain artists be like, yeah, I was on this and that, but it ain't documented. So it's hard for me to believe it. But we got everything documented so you could see everything. And we went to New York. My man, he was doing some flag football tournament. And I said, yo, bro, we got to go to New York. We got to go to New York. Stop what you're doing. Let's go. Prepped everything out, performed, rocked out, met Londell, that's the owner of Source Magazine, and, you know, rest is history after that. You know what I'm saying?
Good. Again, being
Preparation,
prepared. Yeah.
Always be ready.
And I want to go
That's
back
like
to something.
45 minutes on Route 80, man.
Yeah.
Y'all got there right on time and
Yeah.
shit.
I want to go back to something you said. Your grandma passing. Rest in peace to your grandma. 50 Cent had said, damn, I don't remember if it was in his book or in an interview, but he says most people succeed or fail based on an event that occurs to them. You know, a life-changing event.
Yeah.
Something like him getting shot 9 times, you know, your grandma passing. You can either take that happening and, you know, crumble, you know, or take that and let it strengthen you and build upon it. So congratulations for taking that negative situation and using it as fuel for success. That's very important, and a lot of people need to realize, like, take that shit and run with it. Don't let it fucking hinder you and give up because of that. You know what I mean?
That's like something similar that I heard, that everybody faces tough circumstances. You know, everybody's always faced with some sort of, you know, obstacle or something.
Yeah.
It's not the obstacle that's how could I put it, that determines your outcome. It's your attitude, your reaction towards that obstacle. That's what shows whether you're who you say you are, or you know, it's gonna show you who you really are. You know what I'm saying? So like, it's not the actual obstacle, it's how you react to it. You know what I mean? And you chose to react the way you did.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And that's dope. Yeah, absolutely.
Let me ask you.
Go ahead.
Is there a lot of artists coming out of Passaic right now? Is there like a big rap scene right now? I know there is in Jersey, but Passaic specifically.
Yeah, there's a ton of MCs and rappers and stuff like that. You know, a lot of artists are still finding themselves. You know what I mean? It's just that I've been doing this for 11 years and I'm still younger than a lot of people. I'm not even 30, not even 29, not even 28. You know what I mean? So a lot of artists is just digging in, having fun with it. You know what I mean? I just took it to my perspective and took it as a business.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? As a young age, because I knew what I wanted from this. Like I'm not like my team. We're happy. We just won a contest on Thursday. You know what I mean?
That. Congratulations.
Yeah, we won a big contest out at NYC. You know what I mean? Rel Carter was there. That's Jay-Z nephew. You know what I mean? Empire, Republic Records. So many people in there, and we won. You know, coming out of where we from. You know, so that's big. You know, but I still wasn't satisfied. I'm like, all right, cool.
What's next?
What's next?
What's the next thing I'm doing? Because if I coming from where I'm coming from, I have to be. You know, I'm valuable. One fuck up and I'm done up. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
You see that with a lot of people that played ball. I seen that growing up. You know what I mean? Dudes was talented as hell. So when they go to college and then they get homesick or they fail a class and then that's it. They done. You know what I mean? So I took it to my being young and being wise, and a lot of people being my family members and being who they are. You know, I knew I had to be responsible enough for my own shit. I can't blame others for my failures or anything. So that's why, you know, I built a strong team. I got strong people around me, you know, and I have a foundation. You know, if I ever was to fall, nobody would really notice. Yeah. You know what I mean? I've been through through times where I felt like quitting. Yeah. That's when I was sold American Dream. And that was a whole depression stage in 2018. But I thought about giving up, but not knowing that I was actually outgrowing myself. Right. So that's when I had to change the name to Kiamo and think bigger. You know what I mean? It's bigger. I'm not that 16-year-old kid anymore. You know what I mean?
I was going to ask you about Soul of the American Dream.
Let's get into the name thing, because that was actually important. Because Soul of the American Dream.
Soul the American Dream.
Oh, Soul the American Dream. Oh, okay. See, that's different.
Okay.
What made you pick that name?
Yeah.
It was just so dope because I was watching, what was it? Is it BT Soul? It's BT Soul, right?
I remember that, yeah.
So I was just like, oh, Soul, that's dope. You know what I mean? I like that. And the American Dream, I was watching Paid in Full, and they were and they brought it up. They was talking about the American Dream, and I was just like, you know what? I like that. Soul the American Dream. And then I was just running around with it, you know what I mean? Getting my name hot in the streets and all that, you know. And then I just felt like it was just too long. You know what I mean? And I always wanted to change it, you know, but I made sure, like, if I wanted to change it, what it was going to be into. And being at Karmo, that was my grandfather's name. And everybody in the hood, like, my grandfather was a worldwide dude. He wasn't your ordinary dude, you know what I mean? He shook hands. He was tapped in with some serious people, you know what I mean? And well respected and loved, and, you know. And so I said, you know what? Let me keep it in the family, do right by it, and take that name, because I wanted it to be strong. Like, you know, Jay-Z, Nas, you know what I mean? 50 Cent. Karmo, you know what I mean? Keep it strong, polished.
And he spelled it the way you spell it?
Yeah, same way. You know what I mean? It's tatted on my arm.
Is your grandfather still with us?
Nah, he passed away when I was 5.
Rest in peace.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, rest in peace.
Yeah. He had one of the biggest funerals in Passaic.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Yeah, my grandfather, real love person, man. My family loved in my city, my community.
That's
you know
what's
what I
up.
mean? So I just try to do right. And same thing like my pops, man. Everybody know my pops, you know. And me growing up, I was a little pop, you know what I mean? So I try to keep my last name strong and respected. You know what I mean? Never discredit my last name.
So you really got something to. Live for. Yeah.
And I tell the youngins that too. Where I'm from, I tell you, you don't live for something, you die for anything. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta stand for something. You know. And I worked with kids for over 10 years. in my community. You know what I mean? So it was it's bigger than me.
You
know
say
what
that
I mean?
on La Cosa Nostra.
La Cosa Nostra is this thing of ours. That's what it means. So I try to say it's not just this thing of me, it's this thing of ours.
Right,
where I'm from. You know what I mean?
That's awesome, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
But Karmo is my bad. Karmo is a strong name, man, and ain't nobody gonna have that name, and you know that. You know what I'm saying? So that's dope that you represent that. But what a lot of people don't know either is that Passaic, man, is a hood, bro. Is right there next to Patterson, New Jersey, and it might be even more hood than Patterson. Keep it funky.
Nah,
Keep to be out there, man.
It's a small radius. You know what I mean? You could walk from downtown all the way to Passaic Park in an hour.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like, it ain't that big. You know what I mean? But if you tapped in with the right ones, then you know. You know what I mean? It's just like that. I got friends all over Patterson.
Right.
I got friends all over everywhere. You know what I mean? I play AAU basketball. You know what I mean? So you friends with I'm friends with a lot of people.
Shout out to Passaic. Before we move on, I want to. We were talking, I believe, off the air about Corner of the World Records and the relationship between that name and your grandfather. So can you explain that to the listeners?
Corner of the World is actually started off as a bar on South Street and Market Street in Passaic. You know, it stood for CL, Otis, and Wilbur. That was my grandfather and his siblings. You know what I mean? So I took it into my own phrase where, you know, it started from the corner and we're going to take over the whole world. You know what I mean? So that's how I took it as, you know, because I was too young to have this type of conversation with my grandfather.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I just found out the names of that through my Aunt Punch. You know what I mean? She told me when she was out here from North Carolina. You know what I mean? So it's just that I wanted a foundation, and it inspired me because, you know, I watched the Nipsey Hussle movement. You know what I mean? Before, you know, God rest Nipsey. You know what I mean?
R.I.P.
And when I was going through the stage, you remember when I was telling you, like, being independent at 2018, 2017, you know, leaning at after House of Blues, going into House of Blues, I said, you know, I wanted a foundation for my whole team. You know what I mean? It's like a roof over our head, you know, it's like our last names, you know. So I brought in my man Quinn Films, you know, and I told my bro, he was playing ball and whatever, and then he stopped playing ball. He didn't really know what to do, but I was rapping, you know what I mean? I said, you know what, let me really build this in-house team. You know what I mean? I said, bro, you never thought about picking up a camera? Because when we get fly, take a pic of me real quick. And he was thinking some dope flicks, you know what I mean? I said, bro, let's invest in the camera. And you start shooting.
Develop your talent.
And we start growing, you know? So now, from now on, my man Quinn Films, you know, he shoots all the music videos. He's the creative control of the content.
So,
you know what I mean? And I feel like that saves us so much more money being independent, doing it like that. You know what I mean? And we worked with other photographers and other videographers, you know, for certain images and certain styles, you know what I mean? But we built everything in-house. And then my man Poe been working with me since I've been 15, 16 years old, you know? And we basically created the Lord Entertainment part. It became because I said, you know, I just don't want people around me doing nothing.
Right. Everybody has to pull their own weight.
Everybody has to do nothing. I don't want everybody I want everybody, if I could bring y'all to the table, I'm mentioning y'all names, and we in these big platforms, we go in there with a purpose, you know what I mean? And we go in there with uniform, you know what I mean? So if y'all Lord Entertainment, y'all wear y'all Lord shirts. Quinn Films, wear your Quinn Films shirt, your hat, whatever. We go in uniform. And that's what I took from 50 Cent, where he kept his team structured.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then once you're not in control of anything, that's when shit fuck up.
Yeah, shit falls apart.
Have you read any of 50's books?
I read the Robert Greene 50 of Law, and I read that at like 15,
Good.
14, you know what I mean? So that's
shows.
just me being young and keeping my mind positive, because I know what I want.
Right.
You know what I mean? And
Which is good, because a lot of people, even like you said, by the time you were 16, 17, you already knew what you wanted.
yeah.
I'll be honest, at 16, 17 years old, I had no idea what the fuck I wanted. I was a fucking mess. You know what I'm saying? I was worried about, you know, chasing girls and barely getting through high school.
Yeah, but that's a lot of how my friends thought too. But that's why I'm at where I'm at now.
Right.
And now they asking me questions.
Yes.
Right.
Now
You the
they're
OG.
trying to catch up.
Because I did the clothing line. I did
Yeah,
everything.
yeah.
Now I got a lot of friends starting clothing line. Shout out to Ghetto Angels. You know what I mean? Shout out to Fleeces 93. These are a lot of my close friends, and they always give me like, yo, what advice you can give me, or what ways can we market this? And like, what I did, you could just pitch to us, you know what I mean? Like, what's flying? I told my man, yo, don't just be street fashion. Look at the guys like Dapper Dan. Look at all them people, you know what I mean? Just don't be a fashion guy. Think
Right.
bigger than what you are.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because once you think bigger what you are and study what you do, sky's the limit after that.
For sure. Now you the OG.
That's great advice.
Yeah.
You put them all in a position of power. Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, what's the brother's name on the camera?
Quentin Films.
Quentin Films. Shout out to Quentin Films. But I mean, you gave him a chance at a career. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He can go branch out now somewhere
and do anything he wants. I told my
again
team,
and shit.
this is real talk. Each one of my team, everybody that's involved with me or anything, they all made $1,000 doing what they do. So right there, I taught you how to make money.
Yeah.
Now it's up to you. You can do whatever you want in the world. You know what I mean? That's the best
Exactly.
opportunity somebody could ever give you.
Yep.
Yeah.
To give you a craft and you make money out your craft.
Of course.
That you could feed your family.
That's better than money.
That's the best thing. You know what I mean? So the love that a lot of people have for me in my community, and I did that for people that's not even involved with Corner of the World. You know what I mean? Because like I said, I just don't want to make it for my city.
Right.
And that's one thing my uncle told me. My uncle Artie told me that. He said, yo, youngin, you don't just want to make it.
Right.
Because when you just want to make it, then you get stagnated. Nah, in my city, I talked about it in my last interview. I said, you know, I always look at Harlem like you had Big L, then you had Cam, then you had Dipset. Now you got Neek Bucks and all these other MCs coming out of there. You know, the AVs, all these people. You know what I mean? Coming out of there. There's like a foundation out of there. You know, and Mace. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or you got a foundation coming out of there. Same thing with Queens. You had Nas.
There's a
Mobb
legacy.
Deep, CNN, 50 Cent, all these people. You know, and that's what I want to do coming out where I'm coming from in Passaic. You know what I mean? It's bigger than me.
Hell yeah. Now,
There's a
do
leg-
you feel
Go ahead.
with your family being so interwoven with the Passaic community, does that add pressure to you? Not so much to succeed, but like you said, it's not about you succeeding. Do you feel an extra pressure to make Passaic succeed?
You know what's crazy? We just did an event, right, called the Give Back.
Nice.
And we gave
yeah, I was
we,
gonna say,
we,
I was
we
gonna mention
gave-
that.
We gave free haircuts for the kids. I ain't asked for no donations. Straight out of my pockets and my teams. You know what I mean? Free haircuts, school supplies, and toys.
Shouts to
You know
you,
what
by
I
the
mean?
way. That's
Yeah,
dope. That's
absolutely.
amazing.
Shout out to
You know
that.
what I mean? And
God bless, man.
So we recently just got a hit up from the mayor.
Nice.
And you know, a lot of great things are happening. I don't, you know what I mean? I won't speak too much about it.
Right.
You know what I mean? But he wants to meet with me soon, and you know, he wants to show his appreciation for the effort I've been putting in for my community.
That's awesome,
You know
brother.
what I mean?
Congratulations.
So that right there, that could bring a tear to my eye worth any other award. You know what I
Yes.
mean?
Yeah,
'Cause
absolutely.
That's all I ever try to do is save somebody.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I did one of these I had my own curriculum I ran in the Boys and Girls Club. I was a youth development specialist. You know what I mean? So I had my own curriculum called Barbershop Talk. You know, as fellas, we all sit in a barbershop and we all talk.
That's the
Everybody's
social
talking.
club.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So I started that with the youngins. Like how many kids really sit there with other kids and talk about their own issues and stuff like that?
Right.
So I did that with a whole bunch of 10 to 12-year-old all boys. We sit in the classroom. You know what I mean? And I say, yo, everybody close their eyes so we don't judge each other. Who grew up without a father? Raise your hand.
Right.
Some kids raise their hand. Who grew up without a mother? Raise your hand. Raise your hand. Who grew up with grandparents? Raise your hand. Who grew up in foster care? One kid raised their hand. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So it's
exactly.
just like nobody could judge each other. You know what I mean? And that caused a real big hype in the Boys and Girls Club that they were telling me, yo, Malcolm, can you run it down in this school? Can we bring it down in this school? So this whole purpose always been bigger than me.
No.
You know what I mean? And to give back to my community and to have an effect in somebody's life. It's always been big to me because if I could do that for one person, they're going to do that for the next two. And I pray they do it for the next two. You know what I mean?
No, that's fucking amazing.
forward,
bro.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely
absolutely.
super props to you for doing that. And
Yeah.
it sounds like your mission is bigger, not only bigger than you, but even bigger than music.
Absolutely. I was just saying, it's bigger than
It's
me.
more humanitarian and community focused. And that's admirable. Like, dude, props, man. Definitely the mayor
Yeah.
should come find your ass and he should help you do this more.
What's good is too is that a lot of people make it, quote unquote, and they forget. And they're like, fuck that place. That place was nothing but bad to me. Like all the shit that all the bad shit that happened in my life happened there, and they forget about it and they don't want to help nobody. They just go ahead and carry on about their lives. You on the other hand went back and helped.
Yeah, and I'm still here.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it was just like even the barber, right? he been through situations where he got incarcerated before and stuff like that. So he never felt like he was worth something sometimes. Sometimes some people feel like, I'm never worth nothing. I always got in trouble. Now I'm trying to do right, buy it or anything. I gave him that opportunity. You know what I mean? To, cut people's hair. We're going to have flyers, and I'm going to put flyers around the whole city. I had flyers and posters around the whole city. Had the Boys and Girls Club involved. So that gave him an opportunity like, I'm really, I'm worth something here.
I'm doing something.
I mean? I'm doing
You're
something that makes
people,
and I want to make people feel proud about themselves.
Right.
No matter what situation you want to be in, Nothing hurts me more than my uncle being incarcerated so many times. He's out now. He good, God rest, and God bless,
Absolutely.
But
God bless.
he can't get a job just because his record. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if I could help out other people, and eventually, with my music, my art, it takes me to, really start my own businesses, like real businesses, and give people that been incarcerated jobs. That's the biggest thing.
Hell
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
something like that, that can change a family for generations. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
You're not changing one person's life. That can change generations of children and the way they see the world and come up. Like,
Yeah. He could tell his
Yeah, you're
grandkids,
doing
like,
great
yo,
things,
this one young gentleman, Karmo, he helped me, and this is what I'm doing for now for my family. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. It's like he said, it's helping more than one person.
yeah, big time. Now, you mentioned the clothing line.
yeah.
What's the name of it? And is it still active today?
Well, I help out 2 clothing lines. You know what I mean? Get their names out and brands out, but we eventually starting our clothing. I had clothing lines out. I had particularly clothing lines out, but then I stopped because I was just so focused on the art. You know what I mean? And with the name and the brand and getting everything in order, and delivering the projects. So I just was working with other brands, and like my friends would start clothing lines because it was just too much on my hands. I can't do everything no more. You know what I mean? So I have a friend that by the name of Quiz, my brother. He started his clothing line called Ghetto Angels, and Ghetto Angels is, I said, I'm going to help you get your name out. I'm going to have you host a project. And we did Omerta, quick little thing that records I've been had before Cosa Nostra came out. And we just dropped it, and you hear him on the ad-libs and stuff like that. And just giving him recognition of who he is, you know what I mean? And also my man Flea, since 93, you know what I mean? My man's, he got his brand, he's moving, and he's doing what he got to do,
Yeah. Dope, man. Congratulations. Shout out to both of those brothers. Doing their thing. Everybody, make sure y'all go check them out. Make sure y'all go cop something. Omerta. What is that?
The Code of Silence.
Yeah,
My
you
cousin
should know what
Nas,
that is.
my cousin Nas hit me up about it, and I was thinking of a name for, like, I have so much unreleased music, you know what I mean? So much, like, I don't want to. And the thing is, I knew what Cosa Nostra was gonna be, so I don't want to come out with a deluxe because I feel like it's gonna take the attention off the 12 songs that's already on there.
Right.
So I said, I'm gonna just drop 4 songs that you hosted, Ghetto Angels hosted, but I was thinking of a name or whatever. I was thinking Street Dreams, but I'm like, that's too casual or whatever. So my cousin Nas said, Omerta. I was like, Omerta, damn, what that mean? He was like, Code of Silence. It's a word from Sicily. You know what I mean? So, like, I like mob movies and stuff like that. So
I was just gonna say, because you tied Omerta with
Cosa Nostra.
exactly.
You
I was
know
like,
what I mean?
That makes it even doper. I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
So so it was only right that it tied in with each other like that, and that's what it meant.
Omerta has a song that I really like called New Jersey Love Story. It's got the Ashanti Rain On Me sample. Did you select that sample?
Yeah.
Dope, very dope. I like the way y'all used it, and I like the way y'all flipped it. That is out on all DSPs. Everybody make sure you go download it, go check that out. That's Omerta. That was the EP dropped early last year, or was it this year?
It was this year.
2021, right?
Yeah.
My bad.
I really
I
like
be
that
confused of the
project,
years.
man.
Not so that came out, and I'm assuming that was like a lead-in to La Costa Nostra.
Right.
Yeah, and
like kind of like a prequel almost.
Yeah, and a lot of people were like, if the EP sounds like this, what is La Cosa Nostra gonna sound like?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So yeah.
Dope. And
that was smart too, of separating the two instead of like actually co-mingling them. That was actually dope.
Yeah, it's like an EP, like an EP to the movie.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that.
What was the span of time between them?
When did I drop Omerta? I know I dropped La Cosa Nostra in August. You know what I mean? I think I dropped Omerta 2 months before. months before, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
June, May, late May, maybe early June.
Yeah.
That's a
Just because I wanted to give people, because people was like fiending for like, you know, what are we like? I can't wait to hear some music, you know. And I'm like, you know what? I want to give the fans a little bit what we've been working on and stuff like that, little throwaways and stuff like that, you know.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And they don't sound like throwaways.
No.
Yeah, no, absolutely not.
No,
Very
no.
dope songs.
And they go together, in my opinion, because of just the fact that most of those tracks are sampled from other songs. So they really go together. You know, the project is flush. And it's a good way, man, to set up the second album. Yo, dope.
Nah, thank you.
Absolutely, man. And the reception has been good?
Oh, man. For La Cosa Nostra, it's like, I'm just like, I knew this was going to happen with this album. You know what I mean? It was just getting my team prepared for it. You know what I mean? And crazy. Like, I'm shooting a video today off it. You know what I mean? After this.
For which song?
For Cuban Link.
Oh,
you know what I mean? So we got the whole layout on how we shooting videos and how it's going. You know what I mean? So
that's good. You got a plan.
Yeah, like I didn't have to. Like we was gonna shoot the video starting in September. You know what I mean? So we're gonna push the album, shoot 2 videos every month. You know, and just the reception of this album, like what it's giving us, is like, man, we could chill for a little bit, you know what I mean? Like, even though we're not chilling or nothing, you know what I mean? We still working, but it's just like, yo, it's great, you know what I mean? I just got my unpredictable numbers last Friday, and since it got played on the radio, it just skyrocketed, you know what I mean? So,
as it should, man. Congrats again.
No, thank you.
Yeah, man. That is literally the most unpredictable track on the album.
Yeah.
It's dope as hell, man.
On the album, and on a different project, I believe on Omerta, you mentioned Franklin from Snowfall.
Yeah.
Oh, he mentions that on the song Snowfall.
Right?
There's a Franklin in every hood.
Yes, that's the line right there.
Yeah, in that song Snowfall.
Exactly.
Yeah. Then I say it again in La Morena.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
you Snowfall, do. You see it in my eyes. You know what I mean? And that show, my man was always telling me, yo, you remind me of Franklin, right? And I was just like, all right, cool, I'm on power. You know what I mean? Like, he was like, nah, son, you gotta watch. Povus kept telling me, yo, you gotta watch Snowfall, son. You gotta watch Snowfall, son.
Absolutely.
I'm like, all right, man, I'm gonna watch it. You know, I'm bored. And then my man Quentin watched it. He said, yo, son, you gotta watch Snowfall. I said, all right, man, I got no choice. I don't want to be left out of conversations when they all talking about it. So I started watching this Thursday, and I finished the whole seasons by Sunday.
Damn.
It's that good. It's that
good. And I said, hold up, Power guy. I don't know.
No, I'm sorry. I used to fuck with Power and shit, but Snowfall way better. But it's also loosely based on Rick Ross.
Yeah,
the real Rick Ross.
The real Rick Ross.
And
Ricky Ross.
Wasn't John Singleton directing that?
He directed and executive produced the first season. Second season he passed. He was already gone. But you know what's? How do you feel about? Because Rick Ross has come out saying that John Singleton kind of fucked him on that. You know what I'm saying? Kind of saying that he took his life without basically actually even compensating him for it.
He wouldn't be the first one.
What do you mean?
Rick Ross did that to Rick Ross.
Oh, come on, man. We can't even talk about that, man.
That's what I mean.
No, but I'm saying, like, he supposedly, this is according to Rick Ross, the real Rick Ross. He said that he had a sit down with John Singleton, and they talked about, I want you as a consultant on this project. They talked about what the show was going to be about. He broke it all down. Boom. They did all their little, their little spiel or whatever. Singleton went out and made the show. Not once contacted Rick Ross show. That's according to Rick Ross. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? So
I've never seen the show. I have to watch it.
No, that show is amazing.
I hear it's dope.
It's really dope. It's well acted. Number one, the writing is amazing, and again, it's like I said, it's based on a time period that we're all familiar with. Yeah,
you know what's real. I just went through a situation where I felt like I said, my friend said, "Yo, you remind me of Franklin." I went through a situation where last week, a childhood friend I knew, remember when Franklin saw Mel, she was messed up?
Yeah.
I saw a childhood friend, a female, messed up just like that.
Man.
Messed up on drugs, skinny as a pig. She had beautiful curly hair, everything.
All
messed up.
Yeah.
And it fucked with you?
It messed me up when I saw her last week. And I was just like, wow.
Yeah.
It happens, man.
You have
can't
a child.
save everybody, man.
She not, and it just affects you in a way, you know. And I have male friends that been through that, you know what I mean. Yeah. But when you see
a woman,
especially a mother,
you know, so it just had me shook, you know what I mean. And that snowfall is real.
Yeah, no, it's real.
That happened to me too, man. Growing up, Shorty used to come on my block, and I used to have a crush on her. When I saw her a few years later, same thing, man. She, you know, like Chris Rock, like she went from the prom queen to the prom fiend. It was like, yeah, it kind of fucked with me too, man.
Well, no, I mean, honestly, that further proves that y'all are some good-hearted brothers with good souls and good intentions. Because there's people out there that would have took advantage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, Blood? Like you said, you had a crush on Shorty back in the day. There's people out there that would have took advantage and
done what you had to do. Yeah,
did what they wanted to do and not cared. But you guys see these situations and it fucks with your soul because you know it's not supposed to be like that. Like this young lady mother probably was good looking, you know, got caught up and now her life is deteriorating physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. I'm sure her child is affected by it. That kid's going to have trauma and PTSD from seeing their mom in these situations. Y'all some good brothers, man. Y'all some good brothers. I'm happy y'all are around and your energy is around so we can absorb it too.
And it's true, like, as far as Snowfall and Franklin, what I do like about that show, and it parallels kind of like what you're doing, like, what's good about that is that Power, for instance, Ghost, he was smart, but he was also very hands-on and physical. He would murder motherfuckers. Franklin never killed nobody. He was always the brains of everything. He wasn't that I'm gonna go kill somebody type dude. No, I'm gonna figure out a way to go around that. If I don't have to kill him, I won't. But if I do, then it is what it is. But he was always calculated. That's the word I'm looking for. He was always calculated. He was always thinking.
Like a dope show, man.
Yeah.
Well, murder is.
No, I'm just saying, like, he didn't. He wasn't the stereotypical drug lord.
He sounds like a problem solver. Murder doesn't solve the problem.
Right.
But fuck that. Peace, y'all.
Y'all gotta get on that Raising Canaan, man. I'm on that right now. That shit is bananas.
I gotta watch that. My cousin told me that was good.
Damn, I gotta watch all these shows, bro.
It's better than Power, man. Yeah,
what the fuck I've been watching?
I don't know.
Oh no, I've been watching crime documentaries, specifically one called Click M for Murder that talks about murders that occurred off the internet.
What? Damn, nah, that's too dark for me, man.
No, like motherfuckers that use the internet to kill people.
Oh, okay.
So I've been watching that. I don't know why.
It's kind of dark, man.
Don't mind me. I just like documentaries. I just like documentaries, bro. I was watching a documentary the other day about 3 6 Mafia. I told y'all about that one. That was a good one. Kaimo, the producers. Shout out your producers first and foremost, because as much as I love you as a rapper, I love what they do to lay that backdrop for you.
Right.
Can you tell us some of the producers that you've worked with?
My youngin' Too Blessed. You know what I mean? He's an upcoming, inspiring producer for my city.
I was just gonna ask, from
Passaic?
I mean?
Yeah, he's from Passaic. You know what I mean?
Dope.
And I gave him an opportunity that he was on my last album, that he never was on anybody's album or anything. I put him on Notorious Way. Conspiracy, he did my whole House of Blues album. You know what I mean? And I did a lot of online producers I tap in with.
How many albums do you officially have? Because I saw 4.
Yeah, because I took some down.
Oh, okay, that's why.
Then I got a lot of mixtapes on Dat Piff. Okay. You know what I mean? Like,
damn, shout out to Dat Piff, bro.
I still have the app.
I do too, and people may never fully understand the importance that the Dat Piff period, the time frame when that was the shit, like. Yo, that made a lot of artists, bro. Yeah, a lot of people got exposure thanks to Dat Piff.
And that's how I got hot on the streets.
Original world star.
That's how I got hot on the streets. And I got an album, mixtape hosted by Hot 97, DJ Absolute.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Diaries Written in the Garden.
I love that, the name of that album.
Yeah, Diaries Written in the Garden, because I said I was the rose that was growing from the garden. The seed that was planted, coming out, you know, the Jersey's the garden state. You know what I mean? So I was a seed coming out the garden, you know what I mean? And writing my story, that's why it's Diaries Written in the Garden. And then my first project, House of Blues, in 2017, and then we just dropped, you know, we treat everything like albums, you know what I mean? But like these last 3, from The American Dream, Rise of Karmo, The Notorious Way, and you know,
La
Cosa
Cosa
Nostra
Nostra.
is what we really like cherish. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
On the Notorious Way, you have a song called Neighborhood Hove. Another dope song, another dope sample, another good project. Definitely, everybody go check that out. But Neighborhood Hove, make sure y'all go check that out.
Good luck.
Now, how about collaborators? I know on La Cosa Nostra you have the brother Lord Poe.
Yeah, he's talking on the record. I got Ivory. I got Mout. I got my man Bafi. I got Marcus Troy. I got
Rachel,
Rachel's from Cincinnati.
Nice.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Is there anybody in your city that you have not collaborated with and would like to?
You know, the craziest thing, I worked with almost every artist in my city.
That's what's up.
Almost every artist. And I put them on my albums or like literally on my Notorious Way, damn near got almost every artist out my city.
I was just gonna mention there's a lot of features on Notorious Way.
Yeah, and I wanted that to feel like you know, you hear me when you talk about Passaic, you hear me, but when you hear it from the other person's mouth, you feel like, oh, he's not lying, he's telling the truth. That's how it is.
People could corroborate
you know
what
what
you're
I mean?
saying.
Now I'm getting it from more, you know, street dudes, you know what I mean? More dudes that could talk more vocally about it, you know what I mean? Because I want you to feel like you from Passaic, you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Like when Nas did Illmatic, you felt like you was from Queensbridge, you know what I mean? And that's the appeal that I'm trying to give to the people, you know what I mean? You feel like you from where I'm from, you know?
Who put you onto hip hop?
Man, listen.
Because you have you're younger, you said. You said you haven't even reached 29.
Yeah.
But you think of hip hop in a way that we would think of hip hop. And we're a little bit older than you, where it's more, there's a focus on it. You know what I mean? You have goals that you want to achieve through the music. And a lot of newer artists aren't even seeing or even thinking a tenth of that.
I listen to everything. Ozzy Brothers, Marvin Gaye, all that growing up. My pops played everything. I got my first, y'all was talking about the first CDs y'all got. My first CD was Get Rich Trying.
Nice.
You know what I mean? I was in 3rd grade in 03. You know what I mean? And that was my first CD that I told my
old as hell right now, man.
You know,
for real.
Shit. You know the there was 2 versions of Get Rich Trying.
Yeah.
The bullets, you seen the one with the bullets with the dirty one, and they try to hide the bullets for the clean one.
Yeah.
I had both. My father got both because he didn't want me listening to that dirty one. But I still took the dirty one. I didn't want that clean version. You know what I mean? But growing up, I was listening to DMX. Like, I always tell people I ain't got top 5, but I got favorite moments.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? Because and listening, my cousin Celissa that got me, you know, developed. She told me to really study hip hop.
Yes.
Understand
that
it.
is something that is so lacking.
If it's just like sports. Like if you play basketball, baseball, study the greats.
Yes.
Study the best shooters. Study the best ball handlers. Study everything so there's no lack in your game.
Exactly.
And that's what you practice, and that's what I practice.
You know how many people don't do that though because they think they are it and they're the end all be all.
Is a student of the game.
Yeah.
Gotta be a student of the game of
It's
what you do.
very rare.
If you hustle, you looked at the dudes that had that block before, so you don't make the same mistakes they did.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? If you got the ball in your hand, you don't make the same mistakes the last person had the ball in their hand.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's like a mayor. We got one of a good mayor that's doing what he's supposed to do because everybody else didn't do what they were supposed to do. You know what I mean? So that's what it means. Like you gotta. Why do something and not master what you do?
Yeah,
exactly. Be a master of your craft.
Yeah.
To go back to collaborators, are there any artists outside of your city, major independent, that you would like to collaborate with?
You know, Griselda is always dope. You know what I mean? I love to work with Cole, Kendrick. Producers, I love to work with Dr. Dre. Like if it's just producers, like I'll have that with no features. I'll sit with Dr. Dre, and I know the knowledge he'll give me, and you know how we'll prep an album will be everything working with Dre. You know what I mean? Because I love Dre's last one when he did for the movie Straight Outta Compton soundtrack.
Yeah,
it was dope to me. You know what I mean? So
you'd work with Dre considering that your project might never see the light of day.
Nah, it's gonna see light of day.
No, it's a joke.
Nah, I know. But it's just like. I was having a debate. One of my friends, And I said, Dre's one of the illest producers. They were like, why Dre? Why Dre? I said, look at the artists he had put out. He worked with Pac, Snoop, M, 50, you know what I mean? Game, you know, then Kendrick, you know what I mean? Then Anderson .Paak. Like, these people are monumental people, you know what I mean? And Anderson .Paak, his career is going well. And like I said, and to have longevity in hip-hop, you really got to understand different hip-hop.
Not only that, everybody you mentioned is different.
Yeah.
M is totally different than 50. 50 totally different than Kendrick. Kendrick totally different than Anderson .Paak. Anderson .Paak, I don't know anybody that's like him.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Different from Game. You know, when
And
Game dropped
yeah.
documentary, you know what I mean?
Yeah, all of them.
And me as a kid, I was grabbing these albums. And this one, I wasn't even trying to be a rapper. You know what I mean? I was just playing ball, but I knew, this music is different. This music.
But I'm going to keep it a buck, man. I can hear, like you said, not only Dre, but you also said Just Blaze and Kanye. I can hear it because just your project, like Cosa Nostra, is larger than life sounds in there. It's very like, there's a lot of orchestra sounding music and things. It's just a larger than life production.
And that's
very big, and I can hear that. You know what I'm saying?
And that's what I try to gravitate to when people hear my music. You be like, damn, this sound like Just Blaze produced it. You know what I mean? Even though I'm not grabbing it to it, so when Just Blaze do hear it, he's just like, oh, let me work with this guy. I know I can make something crazy.
Like Port of Miami sounds like Just Blaze.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like records like that, you know? And like even the intro to Cosa Nostra sounds like Justice League. You know what I mean? So that's the type of feel.
Very underrated production duo.
Yeah.
I wish more people would work with Justice League.
For real.
My favorite shit that sounds a little bit like Dre is World Series, bro. That track right there, man. Like, we need a video for that shit. That shit hard, bro.
Shout out to my man
West
Marcus
Coast,
Troy.
man. He a beast, bro.
I don't remember what project it's on, but you have a song called Rockefeller Chain.
That was on Omerta.
That's a dope song.
Yeah, because you want to
I fucking will kill for a Rockefeller chain, bro. Of
course I like that song.
Holla at me.
He did that?
Huh?
That was Speedy Baby, right, Karmo?
Yeah.
That was Speedy Baby? No shit. That's the homie.
Yeah, that's the homie.
Shout out to Speedy.
We're going to have him on in 2 or 3 episodes.
like
Word, he
2 or 3
dope.
weeks.
He dope. He a dope producer.
Another underrated producer.
Big time.
Ew.
He repping Chilltown.
Yeah, that's a good homie, bro. Yeah, Rockefeller chain. I fuck with it, and I want. Who would say no to a Rockefeller chain?
Yo, having a Rockefeller chain is the equivalent of like a black card or get into any club free card.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm gonna get me a Rockefeller chain. All right, before we get into 10 shots, Kiamo, thank you for coming through today.
Word, man.
Thank you for this quality music that you were putting out, these quality projects. I'm a fan of albums. I like songs, obviously, but I love to hear an album from beginning to end as one piece of art.
Yeah.
And what you're doing is dope, man. It's dope art. The way you're putting it all together, you're thinking it through, you're connecting it. The production is tight. The lyrics are tight. Congrats to you. Everybody make sure you go download La Cosa Nostra. It's on all DSPs. You can also download Omerta. You can also download Soul of the American Dream.
Yeah.
Right?
Soul of the American Dream. All
the
the
American
streaming
Dream.
platforms are still there.
And what was the name of the previous album? The Notorious Way.
Yeah. It's obvious.
And a road, what was it? A Flower Garden?
Oh, man, you had me.
Diary from the
I'm sorry.
The American Dream, Rise of Karmo.
No, the Diary one.
Oh, Diaries Ran in the Garden?
Yes.
Yeah, that's on streaming platforms, but that's not the full project. The full project is on that Piff
Oh, okay.
and Audio Mac.
Also, I gotta go check that out because
Yeah,
I like
yeah.
that project. Everybody, make sure you go check those out. Make sure you're following Kiamo at Kiamo World, Kiamo World. Make sure you're following Corner of the World Records, Lord_ENT. Shout out to the brother Lord_P.O, the brother Poe, and shout out to the brother Josh at Midtown_Lord.
Thanks.
Before we get into 10 shots with V.S.O.P, brother, very briefly, what's coming up in the future for you?
We have visuals working in the works, you know what I mean? We're also putting another documentary for the kids called Dreams Part 2, where we work with the youth football team, and the kids get to tell what they want to be when they grow up, and you see them practice and you see their football games.
Nice.
And we got, visuals and, shows, big shows coming up. COVID is really limiting a lot of things that we want to do. You know what I mean? But we're getting a lot of hit ups. We're also on the radio. You know what I mean? And we just won a contest that, shout out to Hot 97 chose us. So and we're about to get in contact with them. So about what's going to happen next about the contest. You know what I mean? So we got a lot of great things. Yeah, you know what I mean? And yeah.
Now you say you have a lot of unreleased music. Could you potentially drop a project anytime you wanted? Do you have that much music?
I got music that'll last me for like 5-7 years. I don't need to record no more. But like I said, like music, the thing about me though is like, it's like a release. Like I don't smoke or drink.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So it's therapeutic to me when I write and record and stuff like that. So like all the old music eventually be like, I don't want to hear that. Let's do something new. You know what I mean? So I got so much music it's crazy. I got so much music. It's so the American Dream people never heard.
Right.
You know what I mean? That probably never hear. You know what I mean? So I'll just use them old verses for something. If I be like, yo, that verse was hard. I'm gonna keep that. You know what I mean?
Spit over something else.
Yeah.
Dope, man. Dope. That's a luxury that a lot of artists don't have. So definitely congratulations to you on that. We look forward to hearing new music. We look forward to the videos coming out. I look forward to hearing you on Hot 97. Congratulations again on that. Shout out to Drewski for showing love to artists. Shout out to Hot 97 for
plugging local artists.
Local artists, yes. I always thought that was something they were missing, but if they're making the effort, shout out to them. Man. That's something all these artists need. Let's get into 10 shots with the brother V.S.O.P. This brother right here is going to ask you 10 rapid fire questions. Try not to think, just answer, then we'll circle back.
All right.
Like you said, 10 rapid fire questions based on today's interview and past ones.
All right.
All right, so let's just get into it. I was going to ask you, number 10, I was going to ask you Kanye or Drake, but you already answered that. So if you could choose one producer to work with, would you work with Kanye or Dr. Dre?
Dre.
Wow, that was easy. The whole versus battle, you know what I'm saying? Jadakiss basically bodied all of Dipset by himself almost. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So in that respect, is Jada top 5 dead or alive?
Yeah.
Okay. What's more important to you? Respect or loyalty?
Respect.
We'll go back and we'll find out why. Number 7. Where do the best MCs come from? Brooklyn or Queens?
Queens.
All right. Number 6. Better artist, better rapper in your opinion? Big L or Big Pun?
Dang. Oh man. Damn. The Bronx. Go with Pun. There we go. Who was the total package in your opinion as far as music, movies, poetry, prayers? You know, DMX had the prayers, Tupac had the poetry. Who's better, DMX or Tupac in your opinion? DMX.
Nice. If you could work with somebody, who would it be? Kendrick or Cole?
Cole.
All right. So this might be a little biased, but in your opinion, who would you take, Lauren or Mary J, as far as better artists?
Mary J.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say Lauren from Jersey. All right, no doubt. Number 2, better rap crew in your opinion from Jersey edition. Lords of the Underground, Naughty by Nature.
Naughty by Nature.
Dope. And last one, number 1, the one that started it all for the podcast here, the Gahhd Cast. Who's the best MC, Biggie, Jay-Z, or Nas?
Hove.
Oh, send that Rockefeller chain, baby.
And there you have it, 10 shots.
I knew you were gonna pick Dre. You have an admiration for Dre.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, okay.
Just think about it, like Interscope, Shady Records, Aftermath, during them early 2000s. Like I was a kid, and I was messing with that. You know what I mean? With G Unit and all that. I was a kid.
They had a strong movement. At one
He got a track on Omerta called "Get Rich or Die Trying."
Yeah, yo, I heard that, right? And I was like, yo, where's that fucking beat from?
When It Rains and Pours.
When It Rains and
Pours.
Yeah,
man.
The movie soundtrack.
Dope, man. Dope. Cole over Kendrick, I would pick that easily as well. Naughty over Lords, I would probably go that way too.
He said Queens when it comes to Brooklyn over Queens. He's probably the first person that said Queens.
You know, I thought you were gonna say Nas because of that Queens thing.
Yeah.
But Hov reigns supreme, bro.
Yeah, like whole albums is crazy. Like people talked about Drake, Certified Lover Boy, at 34.
Yeah,
He dropped that at 34, right?
Yeah.
Hov dropped Fade to Black at 34.
Wow. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like when it comes to albums and having impact, Hov is,
Yeah, it's crazy that you just said that 34, and mind you, what came after that, after Fade to Black, there was still some hot shit coming after Fade to Black.
So Queens over
Brooklyn. Yeah, you said, and you took a minute picking Big L or Big Pun.
That's a tough one.
That is a tough one.
Well, no, I'm lying.
Well, for you, it's not tough.
For me, that is very easy. That is Pun 100,000%. There's no debate. But for other fans of music, that would be a tough one.
It's
But
tough.
I was a kid listening. My dad had the Big Pun CD, had the album and stuff like that. So me listening, you gotta think about it. Listening to Puerto Rico, It's So Hard. Pun was on John Blaze. You know what I mean? Think about them records. He was on Band from TV.
Those are big records, man.
L Life was cut short. Sadly. But Pun had Pun too. But I got a chance to listen to Pun a lot more.
Right, you got to experience Pun. By the time
And Kiamo, you're Dominican?
I'm half Dominican. Yeah.
Half Dominican. Shout out to
Oh, that's
Shout
what's
out-
up. Paisano, that's what's up, man. De lo mío.
Dominican brothers. De lo mío, absolutely. Again, thank you for being here. Let's get into the Burnz Love Song of the Week very quickly. Before we get into the song, though, let's go back to the beginning of the episode. We were talking about Donda versus CLB. Another thing that happened in that beef. Is my mic on?
yeah.
Another thing that happened in that beef was Drake leaked a song by Kanye featuring Andre 3000.
Right.
It kind of backfired because the song is fucking fire and he kind of looks stupid.
Yeah.
But Andre 3000, yo, if y'all haven't heard the song, I think it's called The Party's Over or something.
Life of the Party.
Life of the Party. Andre 3000 kicks a verse about his mom and about Donda in heaven. And he says, Donda, if you see my mama, tell her that I'm lost. Like, yo, he does the Andre 3000 thing.
Right.
Where he
I love
just
it.
fucking rips it, but like he gonna make you cry and shit.
I think also what I think Drake was intending, because you know how Kanye is now on this non-secular music, kick. He doesn't make the music that he used to make.
Yeah.
On that song is
Sound
old
like
Kanye.
Yeah.
Is old Ye, if you pay attention.
Yeah.
He's cursing and all that shit. And he's going hard. So that's why I think Drake released that. To let people know, this guy is not the guy he's
This
portraying
guy's a
to be.
hypocrite, kind of.
But like you said, it backfired because people.
But it backfired because everybody's saying that song is hotter than any song on CLB.
Yeah.
With that in mind, I went for the love song of the week. I went back a few years to another Andre 3000 verse, which I always thought was classic, which I always thought was dope. And that's the pick for the Burnz Love Song of the Week. It's called International Players Anthem. It's UGK featuring Andre 3000. And his verse is off the chain. So, Brother F, blast that off for us. Shout out to all the ladies.
Shouts to all the side pieces.
Witness. Pussy. Pimp. Fuck. Bitch. Ass.
Pimp, remember what I taught you.
Your heartbeat stacks.
Bitch.
Shout out to all the ladies. Shout out to all the moms and the sisters. Shout out to all the daughters. Shout out to all the side pieces, the thotties. Rest in peace, Pimp C.
That's right.
Shout out to the brother Kiamo for being here today. Shout out to Lord ENT. Shout out to Lord Poe. Shout out to Josh, Corner of the World Records. Happy birthday. Shout out to Sammy at Timeless_product. That's the love song of the week, y'all. My bad. I couldn't give the shout outs during the Andre verse because that motherfucker's going in and I wanted to hear that. Y'all good brothers got any sign offs, any shout outs?
You know what it is. V.S.O.P, LBE, MDMA all day. We here, man. Once again, much success. Continued success to the brother Karmo here. Thank you for coming through, showing love.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Make sure y'all go listen to the album. Make sure y'all go download it, La Cosa Nostra. If people wanted a physical copy, would they be able to get this?
Absolutely.
How would they get it? DM you?
You could DM me. You DM my team. There's also a link that we're we're working on a link so people can also purchase it online.
Dope.
So we can ship it all over the world. You know what I mean? But
Absolutely
you go as DM me and purchase it, and then, they get it.
All the lovers of hip hop, real hip hop, go check that out, man.
Hell yeah. It's been a long time since we've gotten a physical copy, so I really appreciate this.
Yeah, for sure.
Kaimo, you got any shout outs you want to give before we sign off?
Shout out to my team, Corner of the World, Lord Entertainment. You know what I mean? Quitting Films. You know what I mean? We got something sparkling coming up soon called Cornerstone Mafia.
Okay.
Something we starting up. You know what I mean? But that's another low. Really saying
keep
too
us
much about it.
on that.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah, we'll bring you back.
And shout out to my city. You know what I mean? You already know Passaic.
Shout out to Passaic. Shout out to the DR brothers and sisters.
Jersey.
Yeah, for sure.
Facts.
Blood, you got any sign offs?
Yeah, man, another dope show. Yo, shout out to my cousin Nina. Happy birthday. Shout out to my cousin Jihani in heaven. Rest in peace. Happy birthday to you and my auntie. Rest in peace. Happy birthday to you. Everybody, yo, go check out that track, Daughter. It's the last track on La Cosa Nostra. Dope ass track, dedication to Kaimo's baby girl. He talking spicy on the whole album, but on this one, among one of the other tracks, he gets very vulnerable. You can hear his vulnerability, and I really like that. And a dope way to end the album, man.
Hey, yes, shout out to that. Shout out to all the daughters out there, and shout out to all the girl dads out there.
No, it's a dope story. I don't know if you're too familiar. You speaking on daughters, My daughter was born in the same hospital my grandma died in.
You say that. You actually mentioned that in the song.
Yeah.
Wow.
My daughter was born in the same hospital my grandmother
God bless.
passed away.
See, the circle of life, yo.
Exactly.
VS, you got any shout outs?
Like I said, man, shout out to the team. Shout out to the wife. Shout out to everybody. You know what it is?
Absolutely. And as always, shout out to y'all, my co-host.
That's right.
No doubt.
Shout out to the brother F and Straight Fuego Studios for always
can't forget.
crystal clear quality.
For
Make
your
sure you're
earlobe
following brother
penetration.
F at EFNR711.
Uh-huh.
This has been episode 79 of the Great American Hip Hop Debate Podcast. Shout out to the brother Kiamo. I am the brother Burnz. Do remember, as always, chin up, chest out, carry yourself with honor, carry yourself with pride, and somebody hit my music.